Hi everyone, this is Caroline Speaks, The State of the World on Monday, August 16, 2021. So what is it? Good, better, and different? All three. Now, um, the virus is still with us. Major headlines today are the Taliban seizes control of Afghanistan. There's chaos at the Kabul airport as thousands attempt to flee. Um, it was the war. It's a 20-year-old war started by Bush and Cheney, continued by everyone else, and I don't know why they couldn't get Afghanistan settled into a real democratic state. They made a lot of progress, but the Taliban were waiting, and it's a very sad story. But uh, President Biden did everything he could to have some kind of an orderly transfer. Trump is the one who made an agreement with the Taliban that the U.S. troops would withdraw by May 1st. Biden changed that, moved it up to closer to September 11th, and they just kind of came in and took over. President Biden didn't start this. Actually, President Bush, the son, started it. It's a real tragedy for the people who live there. Their countries being has destroyed, and especially females. They did everything they could. They continue to work to get people out, including Afghans. I think all Afghans should be offered asylum here. Now, journalist Ahmed Rashid on the Taliban's return to power and what comes next for Afghanistan. Who knows? It's a very sad situation, and there's a lot of warlords in Afghanistan. There was a civil war back in the 1990s when the Taliban came in, and they basically want an Islamic State, a traditional Islamic State, very strict guidelines. Now, I think President Biden did all he could. He inherited this. He didn't start it. Bush started it, and then he went on to Iraq. So I don't blame President Biden. Trump was doing terribly. He was May 1st. He signed an agreement with the Taliban that Trump signed an agreement with the Taliban that the U.S. troops would be out by May 1st, and he wasn't asking for any concessions or anything in return. He wasn't asking for protections for people. He wasn't making any agreements with the groups who helped us. Trump just thought that if he got troops out of Afghanistan to help him win the election. Didn't happen. Now let's move on to Haiti. There's another earthquake there. 1,300 are killed in an earthquake as the nation is still recovering from the 2010 quake and recent killing of their president about a month ago. Haiti has been basically robbed of their resources because the people in charge in Haiti have sold off their resources, including the forest. So when there's floods, there's no trees to hold the soil, and we have an earthquake and all kinds of things happening. The trees that were there would have offered some protection are not there, and now there's a tropical storm heading their way. So we really have to help Haiti. Now, what are other headlines? Taliban takes control of Afghanistan after 2 decades of U.S. occupation. Very sad. Haiti's earthquake death toll soars to 1,300 as tropical storm barrels toward the stricken island. I don't understand why Haiti has so many problems, and what have we done to exacerbate those problems? U.S. hospitalizations are younger than ever. Dallas schools defy High Court ruling on mask mandates, and will have mask mandates. They have a crazy governor there, Abbott. Canada's Trudeau calls snap election, seeking majority in a legislative, seeking mandate and legislative majority. Okay, Malaysian Prime Minister um, Yassin steps down and amid criticism of pandemic response. Gee, if we could get other people to step down because of the way they treat the pandemic, like Trumpy. Well, Trump's gone now, but she got him to step down. How about Bolsonaro in uh, Brazil? And how about Johnson in England? Okay. A grenade attack kills 12 people in Karachi, Pakistan. It's very, very sad. It's such a volatile situation. Um, and the 12 who were killed include 4 children. Grenade attack in Karachi. 8 others were wounded. A family was reportedly returning from a wedding reception when their vehicle was hit with a grenade. No one has claimed responsibility for the attack. Very sad. Very dangerous part of the world. Now, also we have fuel tank blast in Lebanon kills at least 28 people. It's a fuel tank that that trying to treat it responsibly to deliver fuel to people, but it exploded. Nicaraguan police raid offices of La Prensa and arrest editor who is critical of President Ortega. Very nice. So much for freedom of the press. Israeli soldiers raid Jenin refugee camp and fatally shoot 4 Palestinians. So what's that all about? In the occupied West Bank, at least 4 Palestinians were shot dead today after Israeli soldiers raided the Jenin refugee camp. 2 of the bodies were reportedly taken by Israeli authorities. I wonder why. And 2 other Palestinians were arrested, including one who was taken from his home by Israeli authorities. It's not the way to win friends and influence people. What's wrong with Israel? Ivory Coast records first case of Ebola in 25 years. Remember Ebola? Well, and they're trying to contact trace the patient, and West Africa is experiencing a surge in COVID cases, and New Guinea has recorded its first deadly case of Marburg disease, a highly virulent disease similar to Ebola. Very sad what's happening there. Zambia opposition leader wins presidential election in a landslide. Shell Oil to pay $111 million to Nigeria for Nigeria oil spills in the 1970s. 1970s, that's almost 50 years ago. What took so long to get, excuse me, what took them so long to pay up? But that's just pennies to them, that they have billions of dollars in profits. Okay. Royal Dutch Shell. Southern Nigeria, Royal Dutch Shell has agreed to pay $111 million to Ogani communities whose land was ravaged by oil spills over a half a century ago. Shell's payment caps decades of legal wrangling in a case that was first brought in 1991 over a pipeline ruptured in 1970. The $111 million penalty is just a small fraction of Shell's annual profits, which totaled $16.5 billion in 2019. I hope they get to pay up. Roll that Shell. We have Chevron, too, with Mr. Donziger. Okay, now, the record heat drives unrelenting wildfires in the western United States. Death toll in Turkey floods hits 70 with dozens still missing. There's a case of a dog in Turkey who was trying to save her puppies. She was trying desperately to save her puppies. I hope she and her puppies got some help. That poor dog. trying to save her family. Okay. Biden administration to boost SNAP food benefits by 25%. That is good. Thank you, President. New York Assembly suspends impeachment investigation into disgraced Governor Andrew Cuomo. Well, they should still have the impeachment investigation. If he's guilty, they should try him and convict him. U.S. begins evacuating Afghanistan embassy staff as Taliban seize Kandahar and Herat. And China closes a shipping terminal over a single COVID-19 case. And Russia logs a record death toll of how much, I wonder. Russia has logged the record death toll. Oh, but I don't say. Australia is starting lockdown. It's part of the country. The virus is still with us. FDA approves third COVID-19 vaccine dose for immunocompromised people. Okay, well, I got the Johnson & Johnson single shot vaccine, so I hope that'll protect me for quite a while. Okay, so what else is new? A lot of news. It's time to move on to a little music. Okay, let's sing. Okay, let's sing. Okay, we did some Tom Springfield, Dusty Springfield songs. How about we do this is a song I really like. Irene. Good night, Irene. Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dreams. Last Saturday night I got married. Me and my wife settled down. Now me and my wife are parted. Going to take another stroll downtown. Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dreams. Sometimes I live in the country. Sometimes I live in the town. Sometimes I have a great notion to jump into the river and drown. Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dreams. Stop rambling. Stop your gambling. Stop staying out late at night. Go home to your wife and your family. Sit down by the fireside bright. Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dreams. Okay, that was Good Night, Irene. That was recorded, I think it was written by Pete Seeger. It was recorded by Pete Seeger and his group. Thank you for tuning in this evening of Monday, August 16, 2021, for another meeting of Caroline Speaks State of the World. I hope you're back with us again tomorrow. In the meantime, stay safe, wear a mask, practice social distancing, only when you have to. And when the vaccine is available for you and it's safe for you to take it, I would take it. I had mine on May 27th, and I'm doing good. I had 2 sore arms and tired for a week, but I'm good. Thank you. Okay, stay safe, take care of yourself and others. And remember, kindness goes a long way. Kindness goes very well. Kindness goes a very long way. Thank you. Good night.